So here we are, all the bindings put together. I had a quick measure and there's enough to go around the whole quilt. So there's no need to add any different fabric to make up the binding size. So that's good news. So what I'm now going to do is cut off the wee tails and leave enough, maybe about a quarter of an inch away from the stitches, and that will leave space for to iron it out flat. So whenever you take it to the iron board, you just open it up, give it a good press, and that will lie nice and flat. And do that for each one. So I was watching some YouTubers, they went to the Birmingham Quilt Festival, and some of the quilts, in fact all of the quilts, are absolutely outstanding. The quality and the attention that are put in these quilts are just absolutely amazing. I'm going to make sure I go one time. Definitely a place I would like to go to anyway. I'm surprised I haven't actually went yet, to be honest with you. So we quick cut. And there's nothing more satisfying than making your own binding for your own quilt as well, rather than the ready-made binding you can buy. So there we have it. The ones there are trimmed off there as well. So now what we'll do is, at the iron board, open up all the wee seams that we trimmed off, nice and flat. There we go. Nice and flat. So there we have it, all the seams are opened up nicely. Now I'm going to fold it over, half it over, nice hot iron, and go straight on down. There we go. Fold it over, nice hot iron, give it a good crease. So there we are, nearing the end of this wee bit here, finishing it off. Then what I'll do is I'll get the quilt organised, take us back to the sewing machine, and we can get started putting the binding onto the nice quilt. See you soon. So here we are back at the sewing machine, and I always like to start at the back of the quilt to begin with, and also leave about a 10-inch tail. I'm going to start round about the middle of the quilt. So what we'll do is get my wee clips ready. I'll just use the one actually, just to clip it here. That's so I know that's where I began, and I'll know when to stop the other binding when we get round. So we'll line it up here. There we go. Swing it round. So what I will do is start with a just over, slightly over a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. So we'll start about here. Yep, just over a 1/4 of an inch. And also start with the rough edges up against the rough edge of your quilt. Some people do it from the front to the back. Preferences. I like to start at the back, so I always think that it gives the front of the quilt a neater look, a neater finish with the binding. So here we go. And when you get to the corner, I would stop maybe about a 1/4 of an inch away from the ends. Just take your time. Do a wee back stitch. There we cut the thread. And then what we want to do is fold it up the way. It's nice and straight, and it's giving you a nice straight line here. And then pull it back down towards you. Make sure the top edges are lined up properly. And put my wee clip back in. Hold it in place. Turn it around. Give myself more tail here. Turn it around and it's sitting nice and neat. And then just over a 1/4 of an inch again. Just slightly over a 1/4 of an inch, I would say. So this bit is left open. And then stitch on straight on down the rough edges. There we go. It's amazing where all these wee bits of threads come from. Then what I'll do is once I do this corner down here, I'll finish the rest and then we'll turn it round and finish the front. And stop about a quarter of an inch away from the end. A wee back stitch. Like so. Then as the same before, just turn your binding over so it's sitting nice and straight. I think what we'll do actually is I'm going to go a wee bit closer. I always find it gives you a neater corner. So there we are, that's a lot better, so it's running straight on down there. So that's nice and straight. Turn it round and pull it back down, make sure the top bit's nice and straight now. Put a wee pin in place. What did I do with it? There we are. And I'll finish the rest of this and we'll be back to do the front. So here we are, nearly finished the back bit. So what I thought I would do is show how I tail my binding together. So I'll stop maybe about here. So what I'm going to do is put this here just to remind me to stop. So there's enough room, wiggle room. I'll show you what I mean. There we go. Take that away. Back stitch. There we go. So then, this is the first time I've done binding on camera. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut maybe about that off. Right. And then cut a quarter. I'm going to leave about a quarter of an inch overlapping this bit here to join it together. So about there. Just going to eyeball it like I always do. That was just the wee bits that were left over. So then what I do is turn this bit over, so there's a wee flap here and a wee bit flap here, enough room to put it under the needle again, the sewing machine. So I'll just turn that bit facing, turn this bit round and face onto, so it's the two bits are right side facing. Turn it flat, bit of wee pin in it. Excuse me. And then let's just turn that round there. Pop it under the sewing machine, 1/4 of an inch, just over 1/4 of an inch actually. Again, there we go, back stitch. And then we'll be able to straighten that bit out, since the needle's keeping it in place for us. And a wee back stitch. There we go. And that's folded over. And that's nice. That's went down well. So then we'll start off where we left off. There. Wee back stitch again. And straight on down until we've pinned that wee bit down. There we go. And a wee back stitch there. So there we have it, all nicely sewn down. I kept that in there, that's where that went. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is take it to the iron board and iron that out. And the flatter that goes, and then we'll be able to turn it round. Turn it round like that and join it all together. So here we are at the iron board. I'm just going to quickly press it open. I never used to do this, but since I've started doing it, I've continued doing it this way. It just helps fold the binding over a lot easier. You don't have to spend too much time doing that. There's a wee bit of thread again. Quick press opened. There we go. Can't believe I'm coming to the end of this. There we go. Quick press. Press it back the way. This wee bit. There we go. Lovely. So here we are back at the sewing machine, all ready to sew down the binding to the front facing of the quilt now. I've started at the top part, so I've just folded it over slightly so it's hiding the stitch lines up there. And I've just lined up my foot, still got my walking foot on. and just put the foot at the edge of the binding, so the needle will catch the end of the binding nicely, hopefully. So here we go, last wee bit. And always look behind just to make sure it is catching, and it certainly is. There we go. I can trim off the wee loose bits here. And then what you can do is then practice what way you want your corners to be. So maybe I'll try it that way, and then fold it over that way, see what gives you the neater finish. And I think that one does, so that's good. There we go, and then keep it. Until you catch that bit. There we go. What I'm going to do is find, this tool is so good at holding the fabric down for that bit. Let's just turn it around that way. There we go, as you can see, it's joined on nicely. So what I'll do is I'm going to go back down this way, just one wee bit, that's it. Turn it round, fold it over till the wee stitches are hidden again. There we go. And then off we go down the side. This is the bit that you definitely need to concentrate on. Yep, looking good. And you don't want to pull it too much, because then it's curving the quilt, it's curving the binding. You want to try and keep it as flat as possible without pulling it too much. And just enough to cover the stitches, and then that will catch the binding at the back as well, so there's no double stitch lines at the back. And check there. Yep, looking good. I just feel as if as soon as you put the binding on, it just makes the quilt look even better. Let's be a bit soft. Just enough to cover the stitches. There we go. It also took me a while when I first started sewing, and I dived straight into making a patchwork quilt for my daughter, and it was the corners I really honestly felt that I had to practice them more and more. This walking foot is tremendous, I love it. There we go. There we go. So now we're approaching the second corner, just push it in, fold that bit over, fold that bit over, there we go, and that's joined up nicely there. I'm going to use maybe wool, there we go. Okay, I'm happy with that bit there, I'll just pull that over, there we go, until you catch the other part of the binding, there we are, turn it round, oh I absolutely love it, love, 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 right. And off we go. Flip back, flip side. So I've got 1.5. There's definitely one thing for sure that I really don't like to do when I'm making a quilt is rushing it. I know a lot of people can't wait to see the end result, just like myself with this, but it's just one thing that I've learned to do is just relax and take your time. And that's joined up nice as well, that's quite cool. There we go. And a wee bit there. bobbin there, but it's all good. And this third corner. Hold it together there. Until you get catch. Oh, no, and another one. There we go, that's good. Good. I'm going to go back over that bit. I think I missed that. Missed a wee stitch. So, I'm just going to go back over that. There we go, that's better. I can just join that again, start from this bit. So one more side and a wee bit, 1.5 sides to go. There we go. I like to cut threads as I see them, otherwise I forget all about it, but that's looking nice. A lot of people like to hand stitch their binding on at the front, so you don't see the stitches, but in all honesty, I honestly don't mind seeing a wee bit of stitch. I think that's all part of the quilting, you know. I did it once, and to be honest, it was nice, but it took a long time. But I think I definitely prefer a machine sew it on. It just gives a different finish, and not so sore in your hands. I swear all the threads weren't there before. It's funny how they just all appear, isn't it? Right. There we are. This wee bit. Yeah. I always feel as if I'm pulling at corners when I'm doing this. Right. Push that in there. That's better. There we go. There we go. That's better. Got it. There we go. There it is. Oh, last wee bit. Always makes me feel a little bit sad. There we go. Last wee bit. And back stitch. There we go. So there we are. Nicely put on. So there we go everyone, that is the quilt completed. We'll try and give you a wee close up there. And the backing. There we go, all stitched nicely. The fabric is amazing. I love the colours, I love the feel of it. I'll give you a bit more. There we go. I am super happy with this quilt. I hope you've enjoyed watching me make this lovely quilt. I'm going to get wee hangers, put it up on my wall as well to get a better look. There we go, nice and cosy. So thank you so much for watching. And if you're new to my channel, if you could hit the subscribe button and a nice wee like would be lovely. So thanks again for watching. Take care, have a nice night. Bye.